Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beam and Board. Today I want to talk a little bit about just some of what's going on in the shop. We're at Christmas time. Things are just really busy. I've got a ton of orders. As it stands, I have more work than I have time to get it done. So that's why there haven't been any videos for the last couple of weeks. I've got to get the shop cleaned up. There's been a lot going on and I've not been taking the time to get everything cleaned up. So I figured y'all could join along with me. I'm going to talk a little bit this time as we go, just share a little bit about what's been going on. So there are a few things I've been kind of excited about for the shop, and one of them is I started advertising on Etsy. As of today, it's been about 20 days since I started advertising, and I've had a lot of views, thousands of views on my Etsy page, but I haven't had that many sales. Now, I didn't spend that much. I set it to spend $2 a day, and so far I have been spending about $2 a day and seeing about $1 a day return on that on average. So I'm spending more money than I'm making when it comes to advertising. But here's the thing, I'm actually making sales. That's different from what I was seeing before, where I was getting some traffic, but I really wasn't selling. And here's a truth, a behind the scenes truth of what's happened with Etsy. Most of my sales, they were people I knew. Whether it be people I know here locally or people I've worked with in the past that have followed me out of the social media links and through friends and word of mouth. So one exciting thing about getting the Etsy ads going is it's gotten me the opportunity to actually get into the market and get some sales to people I don't know. Now, something else that's been going on in the shop is I've had a ton of local orders. Most of these orders have been tumblers, but there have been some custom woodshop orders, just things that take time to build. And as you can see, I have been running and just putting stuff together, and this is kind of what the shop has looked like as I've been going. And it's hard to be efficient when the shop stays like this, but once we get past Christmas, I think it's going to level out. Right now, everyone wants special Christmas gifts, so that's what I'm working on putting together. Something else that's been slowing me down other than the mess is I've had a couple of breakdowns in my shop with tools, and one of them I had a little bit of a close call with. For those of you who've been following with the channel from the beginning, you may remember my large bandsaw. About 2 weeks ago, I went to start it up making a project, and the blade came off. It damaged the tires on the wheels, and it damaged the blade, damaged the insert, the throat plate that goes on the main machine bed. So I had to get all those ordered in, and I've got them. I just haven't had time to put them on, but this is the saw I use to break thicker boards down in the thinner boards so I can make some of the projects I'm doing without having to go buy new stuff. And I'll probably share a video on how to put those tires on and how to put the new bandsaw blade on, but just normal wear and tear stuff with running a wood shop. Now back to talking a little bit about the items I'm making in the shop. One thing I have noticed that's picking up as far as the orders for the shop, it's actually more of the stuff I've not done before. And the thing of it is, if I'm not efficient at it, it's fine. It'll be something I can add. It'll be a product I can offer. And I think when you're starting something like this, to be able to determine what works best in your shop, you have to make a lot of different things. You know, for one thing, when I started Beam and Board, one of the earliest videos, I mentioned that I didn't make a lot of cutting boards, but I mentioned it was something I was going to do. Well, since I've started Beam and Board, I'm finding myself making a lot of cutting boards. They're not that hard to make. They take a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. They really need to be made in batches. It's not something you can just go and throw one together and be efficient. But it is something that people want. So I have found myself making more and more cutting boards. But there is a skill that goes into making cutting boards. It does take a little bit of skill to get the glue joints right, to get them to finish well. And you almost have to be able to see what they're going to look like when they're finished. Not all this wood goes together color-wise and grain-wise in the way that you'd think it would. What I've run into is I'm trying to do these as a made-to-order, and that's fine if everything goes right. The other day, I made a board and it did not go well. I sold one of my walnut and maple boards a few weeks ago. I relisted it without remaking it, thinking, well, I've got plenty of walnut and maple laying around here, so I'll make another one. I made it, and I've given myself about 5 days of time to get these made and shipped with the way I've got the Etsy listing set up. On the third day, I was looking at it and noticed that the board was warped pretty bad. So I didn't have time to make another board. I needed to come up with a solution, and the solution was, it wasn't warped so bad that I couldn't plane it down some more, but it did add an extra day to the build. And those are just the kind of things I really don't want to take a chance with. I don't want to ruin the reputation by sending out a bad product. I also don't want to get a bad reputation by not getting a product out in the time frame. So I think I'm going to stay away from made to orders unless I have enough wood laying around that I can make 2 of them in case something goes wrong with one of them. Well, hopefully I've not been too long-winded in this discussion today, but I just wanted to kind of share how things have been going. So I look forward to you joining me on the next video. Remember, I'm going to be talking about Etsy ads here in a couple weeks. If I get time to shoot another video next week, I'll release one. If not, again, we'll jump into it with a plan when we get to 2026. So thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.